Chapter 13. Other People. Earth Person. God, I never figured there was so much crap going on at the office. How's that? Well, I decided to get clear about things, and what I saw was more than I bargained for. Like what? Well, we had a big staff meeting yesterday, like we do periodically, and boy, did I get an earful. Oh? Yeah. The boss was away, and it was just pure chaos. Wait a second. I've got some notes around here. It was unbelievable. Here they are. Let's see. We all arrived at the meeting on time, but no one really knew what we were there for. We got an agenda, but it was pretty sketchy. So, so everybody just sort of sat around waiting for something to happen. It got so bad that I finally decided to try and get some natural child energy and interest generated by asking everyone what they wanted to accomplish. And did that go over like a lead balloon? Nobody answered. After a few seconds of silence, somebody suggested we send out for some coffee. We all chipped in for it. Then someone said we ought to get back to the question of what we were meeting about. But he was in his parent, which was the last thing I wanted. Nothing much happened for a minute or two, and then one of the women said she thought we'd better hurry up so we could get back to work. You still didn't know what anyone wanted to accomplish? No, I didn't. So I started to bring the subject up again when the guy across from me got into his parent and said maybe I should shut up and listen. Ooh, then what? Then somebody mumbled that I was supposed to know what the meeting was about before I showed up. He was locked into his parent too. I could see it on his face. And then all of a sudden I felt the need to defend myself rather than try to stay clear. It was like this guy had a strong urgency to keep things muddled and I had to do something about it. So, well, what ran through my mind was that if I said anything to him, I'd be defending myself, and if I tried to defeat him, I might look like an agitator. So, what did you say? So, I asked him why it was important for him to tell me what I should do rather than discuss what we wanted to accomplish. I wanted to get him out of his parent, just like you do with me sometimes. And what happened? Well, he just stared like I was crazy. Then somebody else told us to both stop arguing, which was even crazier still because I wasn't trying to argue. And so I shut up for a while, and everybody started talking about what they thought everybody else should do. They were all in their parent. I was having a terrible time trying to keep things straight. So, well, I couldn't think straight with everybody talking from their parent and their adopted child. The whole discussion centered around what people thought they had to do, what they were afraid to do, what they didn't want to do, and what they felt other people thought they should do. There were no adult or natural child statements at all. The terrible thing is that these meetings have always been like this, but I never knew it before. And what's the problem? My whole week's been that way. Whenever I ask people what they want to do, they never respond directly. They really don't know. In fact, the whole office is broken down into three camps. One bunch always parrots what the boss wants to hear. Another never says anything one way or another. And a third always grabs behind the boss's back but never does anything. No one seems to know why he's even there. How is this a problem for you? Well, for the first time in my life, I feel totally alone. There isn't a soul who sees what's going on besides me, and they're beginning not to like me. I think they may see me as a troublemaker. So, what if I keep this up much longer? I'm not going to have any friends. Keep what up? Trying to stay clear. How do you mean? It's like I need some support to stay clear. Support? Yes, it's hard enough to stay out of my parent as it is, but when people are always urging me to get back into my parent or into my adopted child, I find it almost impossible to resist them. So it looks like you'll have to choose between clarity and friendship. Are you willing to give up your friends? Ooh, you mean it's that bad, huh? Bad? Yes, you mean there's no in between. Not the way you've stated it. I just heard you say the choice you need to make is between your friends and clarity. But why don't people want me to be clear? People don't care if you're clear. They just don't want to be forced into seeing clearly themselves. Oh, but I'm not forcing them. Oh? No. Oh, how am I forcing them? You tell me. Hmm, I don't know. I just don't want them forcing me into my parent. And how do you resist that? By trying to get them to stay clear. Oh, did you just hear yourself? Yes, I said I was trying to get them to stay clear. You want them to stay clear. That's different from what they want for themselves. Oh, but they want me to stay confused, and that's different from what I want for myself. It poses a problem, doesn't it? It sure does. I can't just quit my job. Why not? Well, I need the money. That poses another dilemma, doesn't it? Yeah, you're no help. What are you feeling right now? That I'm at a dead end. What does that feel like? Hopeless? How are you making yourself feel hopeless? I see myself not being happy where I am and not being able to leave. You appear unwilling to see clearly enough to do anything about it. I do? Yes. What would happen if you saw clearly enough to resolve all this? I'd probably leave my job and all my friends. So? Well, I don't know why, but that's scary. I wouldn't have a job or any friends. Where would I be? It sounds like having a job and having friends were important goals in the past. Isn't that normal? Would you feel good if I said it was? Yes. Would you feel bad if I said it wasn't? Yes. Wait a minute. What are you doing? What's going on here? I'm just demonstrating how much power you've given me. I can make you feel good or bad just on the basis of what I say. Oh, okay. I get it. I did get carried away with wanting to be normal, but keeping my job and my friends, it is important to me. Well, it looks like you've got another dilemma then. What do you mean? Well, people who become rich and happy may have jobs and friends along the way, but they're willing to see them as transitory. Transitory? Yes. As they grow and as they change the way they run their lives, most successful people exchange their old friends and their old jobs for new ones. Sometimes their friends grow and change with them, but if they do, it's because they've chosen to, and not because they have to or because someone else wants them to. Well, I don't see myself exchanging friends and jobs. I see myself just losing them. What are you preventing yourself from seeing? What do you mean? You just said you see only part of the process. How do you prevent yourself from seeing the rest of it? You mean the part where I get new friends and new jobs? Right. Well, I can't just conceptualize it. Do you want to conceptualize it? Yes, but I don't know how. How do you think you might? Well, I'd have to fantasize about it. Okay, why not try it? Well, uh, the new friends I'd have wouldn't try to keep me in my parent. And and since they wouldn't have any need to keep me in my parent, they'd be operating from their adult and natural child a lot. And what about the type of job you'd have? Well, there'd obviously be a lot of freedom in it because people wouldn't be parenting me a lot. Anything else? It would be interesting and exciting, so my natural child would get involved. Okay, now you have an idea of what sort of work to look for. How could you find this kind of job and these kinds of people? Well, I have to look for them. Will you? You mean as a special project? I mean any way you want. So far, you've just decided that you need to look for them. That's different from actually deciding to look for them. Oh, I get it. Yeah, I'll start looking for them. I might as well. I've got to do it sometime. Good. Let me know how it turns out. Okay. We'll see you later. Comments. As you see more clearly, you automatically give up your old parent and adapted child tapes. As you do this, you'll often find that the parent and adapted child responses of those around you no longer make sense to you. Things people say and do that you normally respond to may seem strange, irrelevant, or unnecessary. Efforts you make to elicit sensible responses from such people often meet with stares and frowns and other signs of confusion or distress. You may not be able to relate to many of these people in the same way you did before. Although you'll always be able to find new ways to relate to those willing to share in the effort, others will simply continue to resist. When they make the parent statement, they'll expect a parent response. And all your efforts to remain adult or to turn on their natural child will simply not satisfy them. Your choice will often be to return to your old ways in order to maintain your old relationships or to give up these relationships, at least for the time being, if you prefer to maintain your new clarity. Giving up your friends is not as heartless as it may sound. It's really a very natural process. As you get clearer, you'll seek relationships with people whose clarity and potential are closer to your own, and whose interest in using that clarity and potential fits with your own interest. You may still care for your old friends, you'll simply have less in common with them than you'll have with your new friends.